so much data out there. I would be on here for hours trying to just show data on guns in an area and how it prevents crime.
Right. Well, I do know some of the estimated statistics on gun violence, and just guns in general, gun violent deaths and murder, or and stuff like that, is I want to say less than 20%, maybe 15%. Now that's including handguns, shotguns, rifles, everything. But now, if you just look at rifles, just rifles in general, like the AR-15 or the Bushmaster series assault weapons. Now, those murders or those deaths only account for less than 3%. Less than 3% of the violent crimes or murders committed here in the United States. Most of the crimes or murders or attempted murders that happen in the United States are from hammers, they're from bats, they're from pipes, they're from any object someone can grab and wield.
See, when you get down to the nitty-gritty, Nick, it's not about the guns, it's about control.
Exactly.
It's not about your little boomstick you got in the closet. It's about the ability to control you. If you don't have a gun, then you can't protect yourself. And the government can do whatever they want with you. That's as putting it as plain and as simple as you can possibly get.
Exactly.
And those people out there who don't believe what I said, who don't believe that's true, then look around. I got 2 words for you. You ready? Wounded knee.
Wounded knee?
Wounded knee. And all you out there who don't know what wounded knee is, go look it up. They killed women. They killed Indian women and children. They walked in. They said, well, we don't want you here. And they just, somebody fired a shot, so we're just going to shoot everybody. Oh, but why is that? Because nobody has any guns except the guy who's shooting, do they?
Yeah.
Which would be the government.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to hear from people about how the U.S. government treats them and takes over, just look at the Native Americans. We came to this country. Native Americans were here. For a while there, we were actually living in harmony. There were a few skirmishes here and there, but then once the United States became a government and started moving out west into the Midwest, where the Ohio Valley, Tennessee, into the Dakotas, down in Texas, then they really started running into Indian resistance, and why wouldn't they? I mean, if the white man is coming to take your land, you can just stand aside and say, "Oh, go ahead, have at it." Put me on an Indian reservation and I'll open up a casino. No, Native Americans have been dealing with the U.S. government, ever since 1492 when Columbus came here.
I just want to interject something in here, Nick. There's been a lot of injustice against the Indian people, and the Native Americans, we came over here and took their land. I'll just put that plainly.
Yeah.
We came over here and we took their land. We settled it, and we developed it and this and that, but ultimately it was their land. There's a lot of things that the white man did wrong, and I'm sorry. For those of you who are out there who feel that the Indian nations were done wrong, I'm sorry. I've read my history. I know the heinous crimes. I'm partially Indian myself. I know. I got pissed off. I got angry. When I started reading about this stuff, I didn't know who to talk to or what to talk to about, about these heinous crimes. But, there's been wrong things done and down through human history. But I got to tell you, forgiveness is the key. If we want to move together as a nation, if we want to heal. And I'm just going to touch on this, Nick. I don't want to discuss this all night long, but
okay.
There's we talk about the Constitution, we talk about the militia, we talk about we all need to bind together. Well, we need to talk about the underlying issues, about the race baiting in this country, about the segregation. Even in 2013, just all these things. The Obama administration, they're baiting this stuff. They're pitting blacks against whites. And man, I served 3 years in the United States Army from August of 1991 to December of 1993. My battle buddy in the Army was as black as night. That man kept me alive. That man guarded my back. He had my sex all the time. That man kept me alive. It doesn't make a difference if you're white, if you're black, if you're red, if you're yellow, if you're green, if you're purple with pink polka dots. We all need to get along. We all need to work this out together. And instead of pointing out how much melatonin you got in your skin, how about let's start working on the real issues about, working about how we're going to run our government, how we're going to solve society's problems, why we have so many people in poverty, why our homeless veterans are being ignored, why they're living on the street while you got these entitlers who are getting thousands of dollars a month in food stamps, yet you got this guy who fought in a war, who fought for our freedom, who fought for his country, and yet he lives on the street corner with a cardboard sign. Really? How's that social justice for you? I'm done with that. Go ahead.
Okay. Well,
the thing is, Nick, and I just want to say this, is, we can talk about law, we can talk about Constitution, we can talk about this, but you also have to remember that there's a human factor in there, and that there's so many other underlying issues that never get talked about because, oh my God, we can't talk about that. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, no, I was just going to say, I totally agree with you that, the government is, trying to divide us, whether it's racially, whether it's politically, left, right, liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican. How about we just forget all of the labels and just say we're Americans?
Yep.
That plain and simple.
Yep.
I mean, if you want to refer to us as by a skin color, my skin color is red, white, and blue.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
Enough said there. But now, are you available to take questions?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Now, if you wanna give us a call and ask Eric any questions, please do so. The number to call in is area code 507-216-7672. Again, that number is 507-216-7672. Or you can Skype us by Skype with the Skype ID the.resistance1775. Again, that's the.resistance1775. So, phone lines are open. If you want to call and ask Eric a question, by all means.
I had a question come to me personally here. Okay. I had an individual ask me, can you speak to armed protest marches on D.C.? Listen, folks, if we're going to march on Washington, then we're going to have to do this as it's going to have to be huge. Honestly, in my best estimation, that is collective suicide. They're not listening anyway. And if you try marching into Washington, basically you're just painting a big target on your back, and I pretty much summed that up in 2 words: collective suicide. Honestly, folks, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know all the answers, and when you call in and you ask me questions, don't expect me to know all the answers, because I don't. I'm 40 years old. I'm still a young guy. I don't know everything, but I know a higher power. I know Jesus Christ. I know, and He leads me and guides me every day. And hopefully He can give answers. If I can help you, if I can't give you an answer on the air here, let's talk about it. Let's work it out. That's what we do. That's what people do. Is we need to talk this out. We need to find a solution. We need to work together. But we also, because I'm the militia chaplain, I have to throw this in there, okay?
Okay.
And because this is my personal belief, but we need to seek God. You know, that we need to include Him. If it wasn't for God, we wouldn't have a country. If it wasn't for God, we wouldn't have this world. If it wasn't for God, we wouldn't have air to breathe, Nick. We're talking the Creator here. Yeah. You know, even the Constitution talks about the Creator. So, you know, people's, you can't put religion in there. You can't do it. Well, why don't you tell our founding forefathers about that, huh? Why don't you tell them, you weren't supposed to put the Creator in there? Really? Yeah.
Yeah, well, and see, you and I had talked off air yesterday, and we talked for almost 2-3 hours. I think
3 hours.
Was it 3 hours?
Mm-hmm. It was over 3 hours.
It only seemed like 45 minutes. I mean, it just like that. But
I cut you off, Nick. I gave you 3 hours, and I was like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, I got to make supper. Okay, bye. But no, and I told you this, but I'll tell all the listeners out there. I'm not very religious. Not to say that I don't believe in God. I'm not an atheist or anything like that. I do believe in a God. I just don't believe in organized religion. Now, that being said, you take like the Pledge of Allegiance, because that's been a big debate, whether to have under God or have God in there or not. I say to keep it in there, because even if you are atheist or if you don't believe in God or whatever, the term under God, one nation under God. And even the appellate courts have even the appellate courts actually had to make a decision on this. But that's how sad this is. But they had actually said that the one nation under God is not a religious reference. That it's more of a ceremonial and historical term. And I could live with that. I could live with whether they said it was religious or not. But, I firmly believe that every single American here in the United States and abroad should have freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom to petition their government, and for Pete's sake, freedom to protest without being called a terrorist.
I agree 100%. As a constitutionalist, yes, I am Pentecostal. Yes, I have my own set of beliefs, but I'm not going to go around bashing everybody because you choose to believe whatever. You can believe that the moon is made out of blue cheese and that the throne of God is up there and that's what you worship. Hey, that I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is a culture, when a culture tries to overtake everything else in a country and tries to not only subjugate the people, but to subjugate genders, women, and say that you're less than what you are. Women are equals. I was raised right. My mother taught me, son, you need to treat your wife like your equal. She is your helpmate. Yes, the Bible says that the man runs the household, but you are to treat your wife with respect. You treat her well. Can anybody out there name a religion that doesn't treat their wives good? I can think of one.
I can think of one right off the top of my head. It's called Islam.
I don't even have to name it. Everybody in the air knows what I'm talking about. When you have such a vampirous culture, and it is a culture, not just a religion, it is a culture. Their laws, we'll call it what it is, Sharia law.
Mm-hmm.
That law governs every aspect of their life. And that law, I have literally posted quotes on my Facebook profile where they have said, we will kill people who do not believe the way we do. You know what? I may be Pentecostal, I may be apostolic, but I'm not going